Well, let's see if I can't get this to go. And you know, this is not. It's not going to come out. See, I'm pressing hard on. I don't want to screw it up. And if you press too hard, it goes down so far. It's hard to then take the pressure back off. Okay. So I have not tried this before, and I was thinking about it earlier. How can I clean this tube out? And you know, I used to do commercial T-bar ceilings, and they have these the wire that you hold up the T-bar ceilings with. It's nice and stout, and I used to cut a little piece and I would save that and I would use that, and it's just the perfect size to go down in there. But I'm gonna just take my screw here. Okay. And this doesn't have thread. On this particular screw, it doesn't have threads going all the way down. So I gotta lift up on it. See, this little bit there doesn't have any thread. So maybe I can take it like that. And I'm just gonna kind of take my screw, my pliers, and just kind of move it around and stuff. What I'm trying to do is break up all the hard stuff there, okay? And I'm thinking I've got it. Okay. And I just happen to have a paper towel right there. And get my tip cleaned off a little bit. Let's see if I can't get some of this out. There's no way I want to just start putting this, you know, caulking anything without cleaning this tip out. So I'm going to squirt some out. Here it comes. And it's kind of, it'll be a little dark just at first because of the dryness in there, as well as my screw has black stuff on it, okay? So I want to make sure this is coming out nice and clean. There we go. Look at that. I've got it. Now this one was easier for me to clean because of the fact that I've used this caulking maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. No more than 2 months probably, okay? And so that was pretty easy. If this was 6 months, it would have taken me a little bit more time. Make sure you take the pressure off after you do it so it doesn't keep squirting out. Okay, so if yours is 5 or 6 months old, I think you can get it that way. You know, try it out next time. Because the thing I hate is using caulking and only using a third of it or half of it, knowing you've got a half a tube left, and you never know when you're going to need it again, and then when you do, it's hard as a rock, or you can't get it out. You got to cut this and mess it all up. Okay, so when I get done with this tube, I'm going to take it out of here and I'm going to put this screw back in it, and I'm going to leave that screw in there until I need it for next time. And next time I use it, I think it will clean all of that stuff out. And if I had to, I could cut the tip just a hair bigger so I could take my pair of pliers and push and pull it all the way through, and I can kind of get it all, you know, some of it cleaned out. You don't have to clean this whole thing out, just as long as you have enough so that you can start squirting your caulking back out. Okay, there's a tip for you. Haha, you didn't think I would go this whole entire video without showing you how to caulk this, did you? Yeah, I'll show you how to caulk it. I know. Every time you watch a video, you can gain that much more information out of it. Okay, so now here's my caulking. How do you like that nice straight line? Look at that. All behind the toilet and stuff. And before, the other guys who had it, they stopped it right there and they couldn't get all the way behind the toilet, but check it out. That looks good, doesn't it? And I was able to get all the way back in there and come across. That looks very nice. And I did under here. I didn't do this yet because I want to show you how to do that. Okay? But I've done underneath here the toe kick. I just went ahead and did it so it makes it look all nice and clean. Does that look good? Got my bucket here, and I'll show you why I use that bucket. And I came all the way to there. That looks like a professional did it. And am I a professional caulker, painter? No. And you don't have to either. And I'll show you how you can use that caulk gun, how to put it on just like a professional. Okay, stick around and I'll show you. Now this first little bit, I'm against here, and what I like to do is go from right to left because I'm right-handed and I like to use my right hand and stuff. But I have to go from the left too, so I'll backhand it and then I have to use my left hand finger. Okay, so right now I'm only going to do a little bit. I take the excess, just wipe it off with my hand. That's how I do it to keep things fast. I'm not going to use a rag and mess up my rag and stuff. Okay, now the trick is having a small tip. Okay, and I cut it at an angle, and I've got the angle towards there. Okay, and now as I go, I'm just going to put a little thin bead. See how I'm going back and forth, back and forth? You just do that and you'll get the caulking exactly where you want it. You won't have it over too much. Okay, I'm getting into this corner and I'm just going to go a little bit further and then I'll go from right to left when I get done. Okay, that's all I'm going to do to press that. And lots of times you press it once and it's built up the pressure so much, depending how thick, how much of your tube you still have left, and you set it down, you turn around, it's still pouring out. That's because you have to press it again. Okay, now I've got my finger. I've got a clean finger. That's the trick there. I'm going to set it on the floor at an angle, and I'm going to let it just rest up here. I'm not going to try to push straight in and get it. The key is I want a little bit of the caulking on the outside of this floor and going up the baseboard just a little bit. I want a nice little bead. I don't want it too thick, but I'm going to start from the outside. I'm going to push my finger down. And I'm going to start out further than I need to and make a pass. Okay, now I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to take another pass and I'm going to push it in just a hair more on the floor. Okay, now when I think I've got to line up with my other, so I've got my finger wet. I'm going to push in just a hair further here on the floor. Let my finger just ride on the base. See, I still am getting just a little bit, and I'm liking that bead right there. Okay, maybe just a little bit more right there. Okay, all right, there. That's all I'm going to do. And I took off some caulking, put it on my finger, my hand. Okay, now I'm going to go from right to left. Okay, get right in there. And before, I don't know if you saw how I caulked the tub and everything, but I used the almond from before, and I put almond in here. Now I've got to go with my white, and I'm just going from the end of the baseboard, not even any further. Okay, I'll get it in there, and I'm just going to go back and forth a little bit like that. If I try to do just one bead, sometimes I get too much, and sometimes it spits, or not spit. It kind of skips some. And see, I've got way too much caulking right there. if I just go like this, and you can do this. You don't have to be that good with the caulk gun. If you just go back and forth, keep your hand on the handle. Look at that. You get it right where you want it. I'm trying not to get too much of a bead. Now I get right to the end. Press that, get that off of there. Now I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to put more pressure on the floor, okay? But I'm going to keep it out just a little bit, because if I go too much, I'm going to spread all this stuff out too far and it's going to go up the base and all that. Okay? And if I feel that too much of it is getting on my finger at any one go, I've got to take it out and wipe it off. But see, when you put it on, boom, 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 back and forth, you don't really get too much on there to where you have to stop and do it and take some off and stop and take some more off. I should be able to go one go, even with that big amount there. Put pressure on the floor. And I've got to go past this one more time, or at least a couple, okay? See, I didn't get that much off, did I? That's because I didn't put a whole lot of extra on. That's the key. Now I can put it more, because I can see that this line is just a hair thicker. It's sticking out just a hair further than the rest of my caulking that I've already put on. So I've got to just trying to be careful right there at the end of that. Now I can press in just a little bit more, and I can tell, I can feel it building up on the tip of my finger. See? Not very much, huh? Look at that. If you think you have to clean up some on the floor to get your finger wet, and just put a little on. See, I don't have much there. There. My caulking line looks very uniform all the way down there, doesn't it? It looks pretty good. If anything, I see one little spot. I see one spot right in there that maybe doesn't have enough. And it looks fine, but I think I can do just a hair better right there. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess. Okay, there. Now if I think I need to push in a little bit more at the bottom, I can clean off the bottom with my wet finger. You know, I got my little sponge here, got a little bit of moisture on there. Just a little. That line looks way better now, and that's all I had to do. Okay? All right. I've got a nice uniform line there. Now I'm gonna do some more right in here. Hey, keep watching. The more you watch, the better you're gonna get at caulking yourself and making your lines nice and straight.